Okay. So let's begin seated. And finding a nice comfortable seat, lifting up through the crown of our head, releasing our shoulders down, maybe taking about 3 deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouths. Really noticing that breath. Taking in, so giving or receiving, I'm sorry, and then exhaling, giving. So we're inhaling and receiving breath, and we're exhaling and we're giving it back. And as you settle in to breathe this way, giving and receiving and breathing sometimes means that we are able to receive and then transform, just like our breath. We can receive something, we can transform and use that gift, use whatever we've received, or we can transform it in the sense that we can also give it away, pass it on. Even like the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? We can transform something into a gift. So focusing on the inhales and exhales, allowing your breath to be a continuous cycle, inhaling and exhaling, no holding the breath, not in this practice. We're just inhaling and exhaling. Letting all the sounds around you becoming part of your practice. Letting go of any tension, any expectations, letting it go of anything that happened before you came into your practice and anything you might need to do afterwards. Using the breath as our anchor. And just taking a few more breaths here. Thinking about that giving and receiving, that exchange of breath in your body. And coming back to that breath as an anchor anytime during your practice. When you're ready, we're going to exhale, bring our chin down to our chest. Let the back of your neck stretch. Take a couple breaths here. Really relaxing the shoulders, everything we don't need. And inhaling, bring your head back up. And you're opening your eyes softly. Let's start doing a little bit of breath work. So let's take an inhale, bring our arms up. Exhale, take the left hand to the mat. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, come into a little side bend. Inhale, reach back up. Bring your left arm up. Exhale, drop the opposite arm. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, down. So as you're making this movement, we're not only focusing on our breath, so giving and receiving that exchange of air, but we're also listening to our bodies, right? So we're just moving as deeply as our body allows us. Maybe the more we make the movements, the looser we become. So we honor that place in our body where we feel resistance. We stop and pause in that resistance. Now, next time we come over to the left side, we're going to stay there. And we're going to just go to that point where you feel the stretch. I want you to focus on relaxing the left shoulder. So let that drop away from the ear. Let the left elbow relax. And then just reach a little further with the right arm. Feeling that stretch in the side, but not to a place of pain, just to a place of resistance. And then use your breath. Breathe a few breaths into that place, feeling it softening. So feeling the left arm relax, the left shoulder and side relaxed, and then the opposite side is engaged. So we have this giving and receiving happening in the body. This is just an example for our practice, what you want to feel as we're moving. And then release that side, come back up with both arms, take a nice breath in, exhale the right arm down and come back into that side bend, just to where you feel resistance. Pausing there, relaxing the right shoulder, the right elbow. And maybe reaching a little bit with that left arm, feeling that stretch in the side, just to a place of tension, not uncomfortable or pain. And then hold there and use your breath, breathing into that side. So engaging the left side, relaxing the right. And you'll feel yourself get deeper and deeper. I can even see it in each of you. And then release that arm back up, bring both arms up, interlace your fingers, then extend the palms up to the ceiling. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. So here, focus on extending up through the crown of the head, a nice tall spine. Softness in the elbows, a little bit of softness in the shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. Take a couple breaths here. See if you can still soften those shoulders. Reach up through the spine. And then bring the palms together and just stick the index finger up, interlacing your fingers. So a little bit of a harder, more challenging side bend. So as we go over to the left, we don't have our arm to stop us. So we have to really cue into our body. Where do we want to stop? And release back up to the center. Take another breath. And exhale. We're going to play with this movement standing as well, just to feel the difference. And come back up. So pretty challenging. Release the arms back down. Give your shoulders a little roll, maybe a couple to the back. Bring your hands on your lap. Take a nice deep breath. Let all that go. And just take a moment observing how and where you're feeling the yoga in your body at this moment. And then we'll make a few circles with our waist, keeping our spine straight. And then reverse those circles, coming in the opposite direction. Notice your breathing. So just that nice even exchange of breath, inhaling and exhaling. And then coming back to the center. Good. Let's just give our wrists a nice little circle. Another direction. And bring your arms down. Let's take our chin down to our chest and bring it over to the left shoulder. Exhale, bring it down to the chest and over to the right shoulder. And back down. Just making these little half circles with the neck. Noticing how your body's responding. And next time your chin comes to your chest, we'll bring it up to the center. Good. Let's do 3 lion's breaths. It's a good time of year to practice that. Now that we're in the autumn and in the fall, we want to keep our throats and we want to keep all the glands in our neck healthy. This will help to also really expel or give back all that excess carbon dioxide. So if you don't remember what lion's breath looks like, we all take an inhale. On our exhale, we just lean forward and just splay your fingers apart like they're lion paws. And then just with your eyes, you look up to the ceiling, your tongue comes out of your mouth and down, and you roar. So it looks like this. Inhale and exhale. And back to center. Take an inhale and exhale. And back to center. Take an inhale. Last one, exhale. Back to center. So notice the energy in your throat, your chest. And let's release. Let's just take, if you're sitting on the floor, just take your legs apart. Just give them a little windshield wiper movement because we've had them cross-legged for a while. We are going to move into cat-cow. So if you're seated, you can do a seated cat-cow. Just stay in your chair. And if you want to join me on the mat, you can come into tabletop for cat-cow. Either one is fine. Taking the tops of the feet onto the floor. And exhaling into our cat, tucking the chin, pressing into the hands, really feeling that spreading of the shoulder blades, tucking the tailbone. On your inhale, we come into our cow. So that opposite, pressing into the hands, squeezing those shoulder blades together and arching the low back a little bit. Exhaling into our cat. Inhaling into cow. And just feeling a nice, smooth, rhythmic motion. See if you can focus on that breath. The exhale ends, the inhale begins. And as that occurs, you coordinate the movement of your spine. We're going to just come into a neutral spine. And then we're just going to come into bird dog. So just working with opposite arm, opposite leg. You can do this seated as well. So just extend opposite arm, opposite leg, and hold. Breathe. Hold. Breathing. You'll notice that other than the softness of the breath, your body's very active in this pose. And release. There's not a whole lot. It's counterbalancing, but both sides of your body are equally engaged to hold you in this little bit of balance. And release. Come into a cat and cow again. Back into neutral spine. One more time, bird dog on each side. Release, other side. 3 deep breaths here. And release back to the center. One more cat and cow. Good. Then from here, we're going to come into a cat pose. Or just sweep the hips back towards the heels. And then come right back up into cow pose. Come into cat pose. And take the hips back towards the heels. The forearms stay off the mat. And then we just sweep into cow pose. Cat pose. Child's pose. And cow pose. Now come into cat pose. Back into child's, and this time drop the forearms. And come in to cow. Sweeping up. And if that does not feel good, just go back to the first set we did. Child's pose, and then just rising up right into cat pose without dropping the forearms. Last one. Perfect. And then from here, tuck your toes and just walk your hands back, coming up into a standing kneeling. I don't know if that makes sense, but we're standing on our knees. So our toes are tucked. And we're just going to start to lean back a little and come forward. You can take your hands on your waist if you want. Leaning back a little and forward. And back a little and forward. You're going to start to feel a little bit of a stretching in the quad, the front of the leg. So when we come back, we're kind of relaxed back here. If you take your hands, you can feel how soft those muscles are and the quads are engaged. And as we come up, the glutes get active. So we have that giving and receiving of the front and the backs of the legs. Just feeling how that feels. One more time. Now from here, see if you can just take the left foot and bring it up. Use your block if you need. And just get that left foot up. Now, same thing here. We're just going to lean a little forward and then lean a little bit back. Now you're going to start to notice a bit more in the right quad as we move forward and backward. And then just coming to your edge, whatever that feels like for you. Maybe you can come really far forward. Maybe not. That's okay. Then from here, take both of your hands to the inside of the mat. So they're on the inside of that left foot. And then we're just going to take the right knee and lift it off the mat. So just hold here, reaching back through the right heel. Breathing. Now pivot the right foot down to the ground and come up into warrior two. Yes. Perfect. Take a nice deep breath. Feel warrior two. And we'll start to play with what's working in your body. You know me, right glute, feel that glute engaged in that right foot. Feel the left foot pressing down. The inner thigh on the left is engaged. But soften the shoulders away from your ears and your elbows. So your arms are engaged, but they don't have to be holding you in this pose. Your legs are holding you up in this pose. Take one more nice deep breath. Good. Then we're going to take our hands, we're going to take them back to the inside of the leg. So on the block or the mat, and pivot that toe back down, dropping that knee. And then taking the left knee back to meet the right knee. We're back in our tabletop. Back in tabletop, cat-cow. Beautiful. Come into cat. Come into child pose. And either dropping the forearms or not, sweep up into cow. Come into cat. Back into child. And one more time up into cow. And come back into neutral spine. Let's bring the right foot up, rising up into this position. And then from here, we're just going to make that little back and forward movement. You can keep the left toes on the mat or the top of the foot, whatever feels better for you. Just this gentle forward and backward, feeling muscles engage, feeling them relax, feeling them engage and relax. One more time. Beautiful. Now take your arms, bring them into the inside of the right foot. Tuck the toe of the left, lift the left knee, reach back with the left heel. Big stretch in the back of the left leg and the left calf. Breathe deeply. And then pivot the left foot down and rise up into warrior two. Soften the shoulders, the elbows. Feel the left glute engage, the right foot, the right inner thigh. Breathe deeply in and out. Remember, honoring your body. What does it feel like? Where do you feel it? What can you change to make it more comfortable? How can you adapt it? And then we're going to pivot back down again. Scoot onto those left toes, drop the left knee, and take the right knee back. Come back into your tabletop. And one more cat, and one more cow. Come back into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Start to walk the hands back to the knees again. This time, lift the knees up off the ground. And then slowly start to raise your glutes so you come into a forward fold. Soften the knees. You can let your head release. You can grab onto your opposite arm. Take a few deep breaths here. Where are you feeling this in your body? Release your arms. Pressing into the feet and slowly rising up. Beautiful. Have a drink of water. I know that was hard work. Beautiful. Let's come into our Tadasana mountain pose. So lifting up through the crown of the head, dropping our shoulders, reaching with the fingertips to the ground, either palms facing you, or some people like to turn their palms out, whatever feels better. Now this pose is very engaging. We should feel some lengthening through the spine, our feet on the floor, our glutes and our quads are engaged. So when we engage the quads, you're going to feel those kneecaps lift. When you engage the glutes, you might feel a little bit happening in the calf muscles. So a very strong mountain pose. So while we're in this pose, it's kind of hard to think about what are the opposition muscles that we're using. What's the opposition muscles? There's not a whole lot of opposition here. Mostly everything is engaged and lifted, and our breath is soft. Now we're going to inhale and bring our palms up. Good. And we're going to make that same movement that we did, although we're standing, that little side bend. So left arm comes down, and we're going to make that side bend. And notice here, now we have our glutes very active, right? Because we're standing, and we could feel this in our side. This arm really isn't supported on anything. It's just kind of hanging out here. And then reach back up, bring your other arm up, and then the other arm down, and come into side bend on the other side. So you'll feel the difference from seated to standing with the side bend, how it feels different in your body. And then come back up. Good. Bring your palms together and just interlace your fingers with your index finger up. Same thing, soften the shoulders a bit away from the ears and the elbows. Now keep those glutes engaged. Now come into the side bend. You're going to feel that same, can't go quite as far. We don't have that other hand to support our leg or support the mat like when we were seated. And reach back up and exhale, come to the opposite side. And reach back up. Release your arms back down. And take a moment in Tadasana and notice your body. Notice what you're feeling now, where you're feeling it. Notice your breath. And then we'll come to the tops of our mats and we'll do 4 sun salutations. So remember, if you need to do them against the wall, so if instead of coming down and let's see, we'll do the first version, which is stepping back in. We're going to step back into down dog and then come into lunge. Okay. So if you want to step back into down dog against the wall and then come into lunge, you can do that. Okay. So just remember to use the wall or the chair if you need. Take a nice deep breath in your Tadasana. Let go of all your expectations. Just focus on the breath, breathing in and out. On your inhale, sweep the arms up, upward salute. On your exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat or the block. Inhale, take your hands to your knees, flat back. Exhale, fold. We're going to step back into down dog. And take about 2 breaths here, exploring down dog. Taking a moment to really stretch out the back. This is what dogs do when they get up from a nap. This is their stretch. And then we're going to bring our left foot up between our hands. So maybe you just drop the right knee, bring the left foot up, come into your lunge. Exhale, take your hands back down to the mat and step the right foot up. Then the knees, reach out and rise up. And come back into Tadasana. Inhale and take an upward salute. Exhale and take a forward fold. Inhale, hands to the knees in a flat back, and exhale and forward. Step back into down dog and take a breath or 2. And we're going to shift down, bring that right foot up, come into your lunge, take a nice deep breath. On your next exhale, hands to the mat or the block. And we're going to step the left foot up to the top of the mat to meet the right. Reach out, rise up or roll up. And come back into mountain. Take 2 deep breaths. And we'll do that 2 more times, 1 more on each side. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come into your down dog, whatever that looks like for you. And take a couple breaths. When you're ready, bring the left foot up and come into your lunge. Exhaling, fold. Step the right foot up. Reach out, rise up or roll up. And come back into Tadasana. Take 2 breaths. And next inhale, upward salute, last one. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Step back into your down dog. Take a couple breaths. And when you're ready, bring the right foot up. And come into lunge. Exhale, fold. And step that left foot back up to the top. Reach out, rise up. This time, exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Coming into Anjali Mudra or prayer. Dropping the shoulders. Pressing the palms, letting your elbows relax. Taking a few breaths of gratitude here. And then just release your arms, give your shoulders a little roll. And we're just going to slowly bend our knees and step the right foot back into warrior 1. And make sure that you step it nice and wide. Don't try to be on a railroad track where you're going to throw your hips off. You want to have a nice solid base. So once you come into warrior 1, you can again notice that interplay of what's relaxed and what's not. With our arms down, our upper body's kind of relaxed. And then we can engage it a little bit by lifting up through the crown of the head. The right foot should feel nice and firm and planted, and that right glute engaged and active. And just the left knee moving over the top of the left foot. Inhale, we're going to bring our arms up. We're going to work with a little shifting here. We've done this a lot, but just to come into that law of giving and receiving. So the first thing is inhale, we're going to give. So we're going to reach up. We're going to take. Exhale, we're going to open the chest and bring our arms into cactus. So we're going to feel the difference in our upper body. Inhaling, reaching up. And then on our exhale, just coming into that cactus, opening the chest. And one more time, inhale and reach up. And exhale, coming into cactus. Now hold cactus here. Take those deep breaths. And then slowly release the arms down. Give your shoulders a little roll. Make sure your legs still feel nice and grounded and connected. And then inhale, come back into warrior 1. And then exhale, we'll come into airplane. So we'll reach out. You're going to shift that weight now. The left leg engages. And we reach the arms back. Hold here. And then inhale. Come back into warrior 1. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, fold forward. Hands to the mat with a block and step the right foot up. Give your knees a little shake, let your head release. And when you're ready, reach out, rise up or roll up. And release back into Tadasana. Take a breath. And you can take your hands on your knees and we're just going to step back with the left foot. Coming into warrior one on the left. Right knee is over the ankle. The left foot is planted. Left glute is engaged. Upper body is soft. Lift up through the crown of the head. Inhale and reach the arms up. Soften the shoulders away from the ears to start. Feeling warrior one. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, cactus. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Active. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then stay here in our cactus position. Hold here. Notice what's active in your legs, your joints. What can you shift? Are you feeling tired? What changes can you make? And then slowly release your arms. Give your shoulders a little roll. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, come into airplane. Doing that weight shift. Holding here. And inhale, reaching. Exhale, folding forward and stepping left foot up. Give your legs a little shake. And when you're ready, you can reach out, rise up, or roll back up. Coming back into Tadasana. Let's work a little bit with opposing. Let's work opposing how our brain works, opposites and how our brain works. So we'll work with eagle pose. And we'll do eagle legs. So we got a lot of twisting happening here with our bodies. So we're going to start with our right leg grounded here. And we're just going to take the left leg and bring it up and over. And so I try to think about when I go to bend my knees, it's like my back knee is pressing into my front knee. So just bring that leg up and over and then make that little bend. Okay. And then we're going to take our left arm and we're going to bring it underneath the right. And then you can stay here in this hug, or you can come into your eagle arms, lifting the elbows up. Good. So we're sinking down, pressing our knees together. We're pressing the elbows together and lifting up. So we're sinking down, lifting up. We've got this opposition happening in the body, but our breath remains constant. And when you're ready, release. Let that go. Give your body a little shake. That's a tough one. And then we'll switch the sides. So now our left glute is going to engage. We're going to lift that right leg and bring it across. And then bend your knees so that your knees are kind of holding you steady. And then we're going to take the right arm under the left, giving yourself that hug or wrapping. Lifting the elbows up, sinking down. Breathing deeply and steadily. ready, you can fly. You can release. And let that go. Give your shoulders a little shake. Take a nice deep breath. Right. Grab your blocks if you want to for in front of you and take your legs wide, just as far as it's comfortable. We're going to do a wide leg forward fold. So you can start with your hands on your hips. Your knees can be slightly bent. We're reaching the tailbone back to start with a nice flat back. Then maybe taking your hands down to the block, letting your head release, and just feeling how this feels in your body. So if you're feeling like, I don't really feel too much happening, you might want to heel toe your feet a little wider, or you just might want to take your head a little lower, maybe to the block. You can also bring your hands underneath the shoulders. And just breathe. See where you can move your breath to help you relax a bit in this position. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly make our way back up. So you can press into the feet and just slowly come back up. And then maybe I had to take my legs a little wider. So I'm going to bring them closer together because we are going to make a bit of a twist here. So we're going to take our right hand over to our left leg. So arms are going to come out. We're going to lean forward a little bit with a nice straight back. And then just take that right hand down to the left leg and the left arm up. Again, you can always have your block on the inside of that left foot and rest your right hand on it. Breathing, you can tuck the left hand in the low back. See if you can play around with getting comfortable, making this pose as comfortable for you as you can. It's not an easy one. Then take that right hand, release it back down. Maybe you come back into that forward fold a moment. And then press into your feet, roll up. Give yourself a little break. Take another breath. And then we'll come to the other side. So we're going to take our left hand. We're going to bring it over to the right leg, wherever it's comfortable, or the block. And the other hand reaches up. Notice how this side feels different or the same. What's happening? How can you make it more comfortable? And slowly release. Coming back to the center. And pressing into your feet when you're ready to slowly roll up and bring your feet together. Now, just take a moment here. Come into your Tadasana pose or mountain pose. Notice your body. Notice what's active, where you feel blood flowing. How is your breathing? Are there parts of your body that you notice more than other parts? What's causing you to notice that part? Is it pain, discomfort? Is it just a subtle awareness? Is it a tingling or an energy sensation? Is it heat or cold? ready to sleep, open your eyes, take a little drink, and then we are going to make our way down onto our bellies. So let's come down and rest in crocodile pose. So for crocodile pose, your legs are fairly wide apart. And then you just take your opposite hand on the opposite upper arm. We'll go to my glasses. And rest your forehead on your forearms. Your chest should be slightly lifted off the mat, and you should feel the diaphragm on the mat. So I always say this is like doing push-ups for your diaphragm. So as you take an inhale, your diaphragm presses against the mat. As you exhale, it relaxes. So take about 5 deep breaths like this. Now continue to breathe like this and notice if you tightened your glutes, and if you did, see if you can relax them. Notice what else you might be holding or where else you might be holding some tension, and see if you can let that go and take a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, you're just going to lift your head, bring your forearms to the mat, and then see if you can just bring your feet a little bit closer together. Just come into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose is a beautiful stretch for the low back. And it also helps us to engage the shoulders and the chest and the forearms, but relaxing the glutes, stretching the low back muscles. Now, if this feels too much on your low back, because once you start to relax in here, you're going to feel a bit of a stretch in that low back. If your low back is sore or it's too much, come back into crocodile pose. So see if you can relax the glutes, press into the forearms, keep the chest open, the head just looks straight ahead, and start to notice that stretch in the low back. If it feels like it's too much on your shoulders, you can also just take your forearms out at 45 degrees, coming into a walrus pose. Yin poses are great examples for engaging certain muscles and letting other muscles really relax. This pose is not an easy one either. So just hold it for a few more breaths, focusing on relaxing those glutes. And then slowly start to come down, taking your forehead to the mat. We're going to extend our right arm straight out. We're going to take our left knee and bend it. The left arm is tucked alongside the left side of the body. So just like we were going to be on a cobra on the left, we're going to lift the left knee and bring it behind us, opening the right shoulder. If your head is floppy, put it on a block or a bolster, pillow, blanket. And then just lift the left knee, bring it back down to the mat. It'll roll you back onto your belly. And then bring both hands alongside the chest. Press into the tops of the feet, squeeze your quads, squeeze the glutes, rise up into cobra, hold for 3 breaths. And release. Stretch the left arm out, bring the right hand alongside the chest, and bend the right knee, lift it up, and the right knee, bring it up and behind you. And come into the twist again, taking a block if you need for under your head. Nice work, everybody. And then to come out, just lift that right knee, place it back on the mat. It'll roll you back over onto your belly. Take both hands alongside the chest, come up into cobra one more time. Squeeze those glutes, lift the chest, breathe deeply. Tuck your toes and just press all the way up and back into whatever version of child's pose feels good for you. And when you're ready, you can roll on up. And if you need to take anything underneath your head, like a blanket or something, do that and come onto your backs. And just take a moment to settle in. See how it feels on your back. Do you feel comfortable with your arms by your side, or do you want to have them up in cactus, or palms up, palms down, just what feels good? And just take a few breaths here and notice if you can allow the back of your body to relax into the mat. And then let's extend the right leg, bring the left knee in towards the chest. You can hug the shin or the hamstring or behind the knee, whatever feels comfortable. Wind eliminating pose. I always like to circle my ankle when I'm in this pose. It just feels good. Seeing here, as you're holding onto your leg, if you can relax the shoulders and the elbows, use the opposition forces of the hands against the leg to hold you in this pose. So keeping it nice and relaxed, especially in the shoulders. And then taking the right hand on the left knee, just draw that knee across the chest or across the body. And just get that stretch in the left hip. And slowly come back to the center, draw that left knee back in towards the chest. And then release the left foot to the ground and draw the right knee in. Extend the left leg. Relax the shoulders, circle the ankle if you wish. Breathe deeply and evenly. Great pose to notice how your joints feel, especially your knee, your hip, even your fingers if you have them interlaced. The joints in your fingers. And then keeping the left hand on the right knee, you can draw it across the body, getting a bit of a stretch in the right hip. Yeah, slowly coming back to the center, giving your knee a little hug, and then releasing the right foot to the mat, bringing the left foot back up to the mat. And then take your your left knee and just cross it over the right knee, like you're just sitting casually at a table. Mm-hmm. And then let both knees drop over to the right. And come back up to the center and switch, taking the right knee, draping it over the left, and then just letting your knees come over to the left. And slowly come back up to center, take the right foot back to the ground. And bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to pop open to the sides, but leaving your back on the floor. If you find yourself arching, stick blocks underneath your knees. And just hold here for a few breaths. And draw the knees back up together. And if you want, you can just take your hands, backs of the hands just underneath your glutes. Bring the knees into the chest. Lift the knees up to the ceiling. If that doesn't feel good, you can just keep your hands away from your glutes. You can grab onto the backs of the legs. You can also use a block underneath your back, just bringing your legs up for a few breaths. You can also point to the flags or circle if that feels good. And when you're ready to draw the knees in and slowly lower the feet back to the mat. And if you want to take your fists underneath your glutes, give your glutes a little massage, you're welcome to do that. Moving your knees side to side. Or if there's another movement that you want to make, there might be something else you want to do. Take the time now to do that. And then when you're ready, just come into your Shavasana. It might be a kind word, a compliment, a smile, a prayer, or a small gift. Similarly, be open to receiving the gifts that come to you during the day. They may be gifts from nature, such as the songs of the birds, a spring shower, a rainbow, or a beautiful sunset. They may be gifts from people in your life, a warm embrace, a kind gesture, or a helpful suggestion. Make the commitment to enliven the law of giving and receiving by taking every opportunity to circulate love, caring, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. And if you choose to, you can repeat the mantra today that is for the law of giving and receiving. I am the nourisher of the universe, or Om Vardhanam Nama. Om Vardhanam Nama. I am the nourisher of the universe. So you can continue to lie in Shavasana. Enjoy this moment, maybe repeating that mantra. If you prefer, you can come up into a comfortable seat, continuing to focus on your breath. I am the nourisher of the universe. Keeping that peaceful energy inside you today, that law of giving and receiving. We'll take a nice deep breath together. Thank you for allowing me to share this practice with you. Namaste.